Well, welcome to the second week of January 2021. This is going to be a better year. Last year, hindsight is 2020, right? It was a crazy year. We learned a lot of things like Zoom and how to get by and eat outside because it isn't inside. A lot of lessons. But let's hope that this year is more productive for businesses and more happy, if you will, for families and individuals. I've got an exciting couple guests here today. We're going to talk about their company. It's called ABCD. Next, after this.
The economy is getting stronger, banks are lending again, and interest rates are at historic lows. Now is a great time to buy your dream home. The caring and knowledgeable professionals at Homes for You have been helping people just like you for over 20 years. They take the time to listen to what you want and will help you find just the right home in Washington or Idaho. Real estate is what we do at Homes for You, 928-5782, or visit online at homes4uspokane.com.
This is River Ridge Frame Shop, called Frame It Today, where we can take your art, customize it, and get it ready to hang on the wall. Here at River Ridge Hardware, 2803 West Garland.
Weather in the inland Northwest can wear you down. And if your gutters are in poor condition or you do not have gutters, you could suffer damage that could cost a fortune to fix. Rainman Seamless Rain Gutters has almost 30 years of professional experience in serving the inland Northwest region and strives to ensure customer service that is second to none, from the time you call to the end of the project.
Well, welcome to this Tuesday, the Pulse of Spokane. Kent Adams here, and good to have you. And I hope, honestly, you're enjoying our new set. It's I've got a great team here, and they hand painted some of this. We've got some more work to do, but more important, we have a couple of folks here from ABCD, and that's easy to remember, like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I've got Alex, okay, and Amanda. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Now, first question, obvious question, and everyone at home is, what is ABCD other than the first 4 letters of the alphabet? So one of you fill us in, will you?
You want to go ahead? You want me to go ahead?
Go for it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So ABCD is a consulting company. It stands for Aim and Build Consulting and Development.
Okay.
And what we created is a team of experts that are going to meet business owners, organization leaders, and leaders in general to help them where they have difficulties with their organization. And whatever their obstacles is, we're trying to create a safe space for them to bring their challenges, and we'll act a little bit like business doctors.
Okay.
So we'll establish a diagnosis,
Right.
and then define a roadmap and help them implement the roadmap.
Okay. How long have you been doing this?
Quite a while, actually. You've been doing this for
Yeah, we
many years?
both were doing it separately. So I've been in the industry about 12 years.
Oh, wow.
Doing different parts of it. And then we met kind of in the process of
course.
of different projects and found that it worked really well to work together.
Isn't that kind of fun when you all of a sudden you see someone else doing something, but they can fill in some pieces here that you're not the expert on, and you
Yeah.
can, and the synergy of that, I think, is fantastic.
beautiful, yeah.
So, you're based here in Spokane?
Yes, sir.
We are.
Okay. Is most of your business here, or are you regional across the country?
Our current business is here, but we've both done international and national work.
Oh, okay.
And looking to take new parts of our business to other places. And so
Yeah.
it depends kind of on the segment that we're working on. But we've been doing a lot more statewide stuff recently.
I think an aspect that we've tried to explain to clients before COVID is that we don't have to be physically present to help them.
Yeah.
Well, now everybody knows that.
Yes. Yes.
So
Blessing in disguise for us.
Right.
Yeah. Did you know Zoom and those kinds of things before COVID?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Vinny over there, my producer, told me about Zoom back in January, and I said, well, that's nice. Maybe one of these days you can show me what it's like. March, I learned Zoom, okay? And I think half the nation or more, at least in business and in families and things like that. And that's true. I have to ask if you called me, Alex, and said, let's have a conversation, are you meaning at your office, my studio, or are we doing Zoom or FaceTime or what? Got to clarify. And I didn't last week with somebody, and she says, I don't see you on whatever it was, team. And I'm going, oh, okay, I forgot to ask how we were meeting. Do you get that once in a while?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do, but we try to be prepared.
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit, you know.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is
It's
you
just
were
like-
better prepared than Kim. I get that. I get that. Yeah. I'm still old-fashioned. I like to meet people in person, and I think a lot of us do. What are some of the projects that you've worked on recently?
One of the projects that I could tell you about is, and of course, feel free to jump in at any time. But recently, we've partnered with an organization that's called SIMBA, Spokane Independent Metro Business
We had them
Alliance.
on last week.
So we're
That's
members
awesome.
of
Yes.
SIMBA. You know Mariah McKay?
Yes, she
Okay.
was sitting right where you are.
Okay, so we're very involved with SIMBA.
Okay.
And we were part of an organization of a program that's called Leave Local that was financed by the city of Spokane.
Yes.
And we provided direct one-on-one coaching for business owners and business leaders for approximately 20 companies in our area. So
Honestly, especially small businesses that have very limited staff and maybe an owner and one employee or something like that. And you guys probably know this too. You're working your hearts out just to keep going. And then there's COVID and all of the elements that come in because of that. And it's like, I don't have time for that, but I have to have time for that. How do I deal with it and so forth? And so
We were just talking about that today.
yeah.
It feels like it's a little chaotic sometimes.
does it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about some of the other folks you've worked with. Simba is a great organization.
go ahead. Yeah, no, go ahead.
We've
We have polite people here.
Right.
No, you go ahead.
So I've been doing work independently with clients that, again, we've been seeing kind of come together in this project with Live Local. But I've done contracts on the East Coast and in Latin America and South America, and so we kind of started with Zoom that
Yeah.
way. And he had been working with some organizations over in Europe as well, and so
Fun.
to be able to see all of that come together with Live Local and then see those types of projects really emulated through the Live Local project,
Yeah.
but really bless the business owners of this area. Has been really cool to see kind of things that we've learned globally come together to support local.
Yeah.
And so one of my favorite clients right now is a cleaning company in Spokane that just has been a fun project in the sense that like we've gotten to really kind of hold their hand through the whole thing. And when you're looking at COVID entering their life, for example, just as many of the other clients we're working with, to be able to say, yes, we can walk through this paperwork with you, or when you're freaking out, we can hold your hand, or when you just need someone to help you with an area you've never had to be good at.
Yes.
With marketing, Zoom, managing employees from afar in new ways. She had a baby in the middle of all of it too, and is trying to
Well,
manage
that was
a
lousy
business.
planning.
Right? And so just to be able to be through the journey with these clients has been a really, really big blessing and also just a fun experience.
You know what I've found over the years, because we've done it in audio, essentially on the internet or TV, over almost 6 years now, in one form or the other, TV the last 3 years. But I was surprised at the number, what I would call small businesses. You're talking 50 or smaller, the really nationally, I think small businesses defined at 50 or less employees. In town here, I think small businesses like 10 or less. But anyway, how many of them are here in our area, but nobody knows about them because they have clients outside this area, or what they manufacture or sell or produce as a service isn't needed so much here, but they have clients there. and we've had the back door, for instance, of the Boeing Credit Union here in Spokane for years. It's known by most people in Spokane now as BECU, okay, because they have branches. But they've been here for a decade or two, and 100, 200 employees or whatever it is. We often don't know what we have here in Spokane. And then we have the obvious ones that are the retail, the restaurants, and the others. And they've been struggling. And as I've often said, what's happened is the owner often is more worried about their employees than they are even about themselves or their own employee. You finding that too? I see the nodding of the head. And they go, yes, I may end up being bankrupt. But I've worked on having some great employees the last couple of years that are dedicated, and I worry about them and so forth. And so you're helping them is going to make a real difference.
I think the good news is that losing your business is not a fatality. There's actually a lot of options. And the way we're approaching it is that a lot of people who started a business started it like a job. Like they understood how to deliver the service or the product that they're delivering, but they're not trained to manage a business. And so when it
they
comes
know how
down-
to cook something, they know how to deliver that product. That's their background. That's their DNA, right?
Exactly. And being a good electrician or owning an electrical services company are two completely different jobs. So that's when we come into picture.
Oh, good.
And we help them understand how they're going to be efficient, make money, help their employees.
Because
thrive
we
in the
all know
business.
what happens to startups within the first, 5 years or so. A lot of them fail because they're good at what they're doing, but they're not good at getting the word out and the management and those kinds of things. And people who have experience know what it's like. Well, let me tell you what we did over here to a like type business and so forth. And it can apply to what you do as an electrician and your business there and so forth. That really makes a difference. You know, one of the things I find, and you probably do too, is I don't care what business you're in, we're still a town here in Spokane, and we help each other, even our competition, don't we?
Yeah.
That's true.
So I grew up in Spokane.
Okay.
And came from generations of family businesses that were here.
Okay.
And some of those, like you said, were really doing outreach in different areas, not even locally, or were small businesses that never really got much traction in the area.
Right.
But I really resonate with what you said about just kind of that camaraderie within a business and the family and that feeling of like, you know, we do help our competition even sometimes because
we
we
grow the big cake or the pie.
And we
bigger.
see Spokane as one big family in a lot
Yes.
of ways because some of us are just really committed to this town.
Yes,
And
yes.
so
I
it's
love it.
really hard to not be completely emotionally attached to what we're doing with our clients. I mean, because we want to be, not because we're running from it, but just like,
Right.
you know, we do really want to grow this entire area. And the rising tide really does raise all ships, especially in this particular
Well,
area.
we're seeing an influx of people.
Yeah.
So there will be more demand for services and so forth, especially as we come out of this. The housing issue is a bit of an issue right now in terms of getting into housing, and I know they're working on that and so forth. But I moved here 44 years ago, and my wife and I would spend Saturday going out to have brunch. That was our time away from our kids, right? And I think there was Perkins and a couple of other choices. Now there's all kinds of choices that we have, and I want to get back to all of that they're all thriving. I may not like sushi, but I'm glad it's here, okay, for those who do. I may not care about certain acts that come to town to perform for us. Remember when we used to have performances? But I'm glad it's here because it helps our tax base and all the things that go with that. And we've got to get back to that. We really do. Any last things? Before I ask you, how do people get in touch with you? But anything that I should have asked?
I think that one of the aspects when you own a business is that you sometimes can identify that you have a problem without exactly knowing what your problem is. And for that, you can have a little bit of paralysis, like not know what to do. I would say that
So you do nothing.
So you do nothing. And I would say that is actually the best position to be in. Like, you don't go to the doctor and tell the doctor how you want to be healed. You're actually going to ask the doctor.
Yeah.
So for a lot of business owners, like what I would want to let them know is that you don't have to know exactly what your problem is. In fact, pretty often first diagnosis,
you may never really know until someone searches with you.
Yeah, and pretty often the first diagnosis that a leader would put on a problem, it's not necessarily the right one.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's not their job. It can become their job.
We're too close to it
I
as
think
owners,
so,
aren't we?
Yeah. And even in our own organization, we use a lot of peer review, second opinion.
I was just going to ask, who do you go to? Others
Yes.
that are doing what you're doing.
Trust me,
Yeah.
we disagree. We happily disagree all
Yeah.
the time, but it's healthy disagreement. Like, we know we have the same goal, and we just find different routes to get there. And so, in our own interest, but also in the interest of the client, it is like what's going to be the most efficient to the path of least resistance.
I love it.
You know,
Well, how can people get a hold of ABCD?
you're the best at that.
Let me guess. You have a Facebook?
We're not
Well,
super
we're not
active
super
on
active
Facebook.
on that,
We
yeah.
do
So you have a
Facebook.
website.
So we do have a website.
Okay.
Which is abcd-us.net.
Okay.
Should I repeat that?
That's pretty easy to remember.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
We are personally on Facebook. You will also find Aim and Build Consulting and Development.
Okay.
On Facebook, if you Google us, you'll find our website, our Facebook page.
Right.
We have phone numbers. We still use the phone. I know people-
Portable most of the time, though, I bet. These
Yes,
days.
but
Yeah.
people don't make phone calls anymore. Like, you just
Yeah,
text and
because I can catch you on the way to something like they did this morning when I was coming into the studio. They know how to get you, don't they?
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you for what you're doing, because I know you're making a difference. Thank you for being involved in Simba, and that's important because there are a lot of small businesses in there that could really be struggling, and we need
It's a great organization,
We need to support. There's a real feeling in this town, and it was really identified loud and clear when Chick-fil-A opened, of how many comments on there was, why Chick-fil-A when we've got all these locally owned, you know what I mean? And to me that said, okay, we are a town, we care about the people down the street that have struggled and hope that they can keep their business open and so forth. And what Rick Clark has done and so forth is fantastic. And we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And let's get through it, and then we'll thrive like crazy.
Yeah.
So, Alex.
Can I add something to that really
Absolutely.
quick? Yeah. Just
Absolutely.
on that note, I think it is really important, again, to have each other's back in that thriving process.
Yes.
And so I would just encourage people who are listening, that are even interested in what we do, like, reach out, because sometimes people don't know that they have problems, and sometimes they just need a checkup, and sometimes they need somebody in their back pocket for when the problem does come. So we do offer free consultations,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
we would love to be able
Yeah.
to just make those connections.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not even someone who's listening that needs the help, but maybe their friend does.
And they might say, hey, Pete over here,
Yes.
I'm going to send your info to Pete because he needs someone to come in for advice right now.
Yeah.
I don't need you, but maybe later.
And we always hear from people, too, that they think they can't afford it or the timing isn't right. And we have lots of packages and options
Yeah.
to be able to help people in this community.
I love that.
So especially right now, this is the time to make that connection. Look us up online, reach out, and just, make that quick connection.
Amanda, Alex, thanks for coming in today. And
for having
most
us.
important, thank you for what you do, because as a small business owner and so forth, we all struggle at times. And to have someone that's got our back and can raise questions, can't have you thought of, is really important, especially right now and moving forward, because the world is going to be different. Not sure. I think we kind of know some signs, but not sure what it's going to be like 6 months or a year from now. And we've got to be prepared to be flexible. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you for
All
having
right,
us.
ABCD. Look them up. Give them a call, okay? And thanks for watching the Pulse of Spokane, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching this episode of The Pulse. We are where you are. Check us out on any of these other platforms as well as our website. This show is sponsored by Local 29 Firefighters Union, Homes for You, and Apex Canada.